Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Patty Barnett, zooming in from Laguna Niguel. Patty is the Vice President of the Alzheimer's Orange County and Community Education at Hoag Palliative Care, in charge of education support, advocacy, both legislative and consumer, and operates an adult healthcare center. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you so much. And my husband would be very sad if we didn't say that my last name was also Mouton. So I go by Patty Barnett Mouton, and I'm happily married 37 years.
Amazing. Congratulations. And I'm sure he'll be happy about the plug right there for him.
You bet.
So Patty, tell us a little bit about what you do and your involvement in the community here in Orange County.
Thank you for the opportunity. I work for Alzheimer's Orange County, which is a medium-sized to large not-for-profit social services agency. And we're actually the largest provider and the longest-term provider of specific Alzheimer's and dementia care services to people here in Orange County, serving this population for 44 years. So we provide education, support, advocacy, information, help people who are what we call the worried well to learn about risk reduction and ways to prevent the disease. We help people understand the genetics of the problem, and we help people get connected to community resources, to great clinicians that can help them if they need a neurologist, neuropsychologist, if they need to be connected to a psychologist for therapy for the family that's having stress. And we certainly help them get connected should the time come and the family need to have placement of their loved one in a facility that's secure and specialized for people with dementia. So we have a very, very comprehensive mission, and we're very pleased to have served the Orange County community for so long.
Thank you so much for all that detail. I mean, that's really important piece that the community should know that what's available for them. But tell us a little bit about how you got started in this one, and then maybe the second part is when we have elderly family members, what are the symptoms that we start seeing so that we know it's time to seek out help, or is there anything else that we should do? I don't want to say preventive, because I don't know if you can prevent the illness, but at least to understand that there's something there and that you should seek professional help to be able to give you some guidance and some information, basically.
Sure. Well, I'll start out by answering the last question first, and that is there's a tremendous amount people can do toward risk reduction and pushing back the onset of symptoms. And as we go, we can talk about some of the percentages and what some of the greater risk factors are. Mm-hmm. But rest assured, a healthy lifestyle, eating similarly to the Mediterranean diet, keeping yourself very involved intellectually, learning something new every day, working and challenging your brain, exercise, moving your body so that you perfuse that brain with healthy blood and lots of oxygen is critically important. Social connections, having a purpose in life, keeping your body healthy so that if you have hypertension, diabetes, or any other kinds of chronic diseases, you listen to your doctor and you keep your disease processes controlled, and that will help bring down your risk and might help to push back the onset of symptoms. So health, exercise,
right,
good healthy eating. In terms of how I got interested in dementia care and Alzheimer's, Orange County in particular, I'm a local girl. I have worked here in Orange County healthcare for 45 years.
Wow.
I started as a pharmaceutical representative with divisions of Johnson and Johnson. I sold a little product you might remember called Tylenol and Tylenol
Oh, yeah.
products. So for
Yeah. Oh,
years,
yeah.
I worked for them in their pediatric department and then in their overall pain killing department, and then in a division that dealt strictly with people with renal insufficiency, a colony stimulating hormone called Procrit. So I was kind of a SWAT team across the country for
Hmm.
J&J. And from there, I started to look at my career path. And, you get into your 40s and you kind of think, what does my life mean? What is the meaning of life? And
Right.
so I made some switches. And I can't tell if there's a problem on the screen. There we go. Um, I worked for the American Red Cross Blood Services for a number of years in leadership. And I started volunteering for a hospice company. I had kind of a personal epiphany. Two good friends, peers, girlfriends died right
Hmm.
about the same time. One had a beautiful death experience. One had a very difficult death experience. And the difference was one of them had enrolled in hospice early enough in the program to get full benefits from it. And I wanted to know more about that. So I
Hmm.
became a hospice volunteer, and one thing kind of leads to another. The hospice offered me a job after a couple of years, and I worked for them. And as I really looked at how we admitted patients to hospice, I realized that very often grandpa might have cancer and was going home on hospice, but grandma, who was going to take care of him, manage his meals, his bandages, his morphine, grandma was very confused and nobody was addressing that. So I just keyed
Hmm.
into that. I said, we've got to help this family. What are the resources for people that seem to have this cognitive problem, some kind of dementia? And this is more than 25 years ago, so there wasn't as much available. So I got really
Hmm.
busy researching, taking classes. I got connected to Alzheimer's Orange County. I took every class they had to offer. I took many, many lectures through the UCI Mind Institute. And I enrolled back in college and got 2 new degrees because I knew that this is something that we really needed to understand. So I
Hmm.
volunteered for Alzheimer's Orange County for about 5 years. And then one thing led to another, and all the stars aligned. And I was offered a position to come on board initially as their education director. And I really just thought this was the most wonderful opportunity for me to provide education, to lead people into getting the support they needed. Because the more I learned about dementia, the more I saw the devastation it causes in families. And I learned that there's a great deal more prevalence than people realize. And we tend to sweep it under the carpet and not want to address the symptoms head on. And the tragedy of that is
Hmm.
most of what we have now in terms of treatment works best when we start early in the disease process. And in order to do that, people have to recognize their symptoms, get to a doctor, get a diagnosis, and then we can start treatment that hopefully will have some mitigating factors. And now, with the most recent releases of actual disease modifying treatments in some of the infusible drugs, we really have some incredible hope as to what's going to be happening, not just now, but as we move into the future and learn more and more about not only how to prevent the onset of symptoms, but manage them and turn this into a more chronic kind of disease that doesn't necessarily devastate one's cognition. So we're hopeful. And I have grown with the organization. We are actually quite busy. We take care of, well, there's more than 165,000 people in the county today that have the disease. Right now, we're reaching about 35% of them in some way for education, for support groups, for care and respite for the family at our Adult Day Healthcare Center at Acacia Healthy Aging Center. We
Hmm.
provide a great deal of advocacy, helping people get connected to programs to which they're entitled, but maybe not know about. We
Right.
really work closely with our colleagues in the community, people like the Council on Aging, Age Well, Meals on Wheels Orange County, and the Orange Caregiver Resource Center, just to name a few, to really make sure people build this village of support as they walk through this Alzheimer's and dementia journey.
Yeah, that's a lot of people that have been touched by the disease. You said 165,000, and only you guys are only reaching, was this just your organization or all organizations together
Well,
are reaching 35% of them?
in Orange County, there's about 165-ish thousand
Right,
people that we
right,
know are impacted. There may be others that we don't know about,
right, right.
but that's the approximate prevalence. And Alzheimer's Orange County reaches about 35% of those people. We'd love to take care of more people who need us and maybe don't know that we're available or what we can do for them. And what's really great is almost everything we do for the families we serve, we do for free.
Now that is great to know because not every family has the resources to be able to take care of their loved ones or have them cared for.
Indeed, indeed. And in social circles and in gerontology circles, we talk about the social determinants of health. And
Hmm.
for people who have low income, maybe struggle with having groceries that are healthy, struggle with making sure they're controlling their chronic diseases, struggle with isolation, struggle with the challenges of other illnesses, other chronic diseases, they are more at risk. So people who have diabetes have a greater risk of Alzheimer's disease. People who have hypertension have a greater risk of Alzheimer's disease. People with cardiac disease are at much greater risk. People who have had traumatic brain injury, maybe it's just they bonged their head in playing football 2 or 3 times. Well,
Hmm.
if it was serious enough to be a concussion, that greatly increases their risk of dementia later in life. So we really want people to understand where this disease fits in the continuum of life and then how the continuum of care can help them as they walk the journey.
Yes, yes, being able to understand that. Now, are you guys operating at full capacity, or do you guys still have room to increase your reach to
Oh,
additional?
I love that question. We would love to have the phone ring off the hook all day, every day. We
Hmm.
have a team of social workers. Many of them are licensed clinical social workers. We have several gerontologists on staff. We would love to be busier than we could possibly be. And so, yes, we have room to care for more people. We're caring for people, for example, annually we provide education programs and about 15 to 18,000 people attend an education program. So
Hmm.
we'd like to see that be much higher because education leads to more confidence and it helps to dispel some of the notions that people have that, oh, it's just old age, or well, I don't want to embarrass grandma by talking about her memory loss. People tend to compensate rather than look at the problem straight in the eye and then get some solutions.
So what can let's so here's a question. Between you and I, we're talking about this. So whoever our audience listens to this, we're gonna have some type of reach, right? So
Yes.
so what can be done to just make it known out there that there are resources to be able to help a loved one? Because I would
Well,
imagine part of the problem is not everybody knows that there's something available.
correct. Correct.
How can we help
We're
with that?
very, very active in our Orange County community, in the senior care community, and in the community at large. Tonight, for example, we are receiving a proclamation from the city of Lake Forest for the work we do and in honor of Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So people just need to key into social media. They can like us on Facebook, Alzheimer's Orange County. They can connect with us on LinkedIn. They can look at our website, which is really easy. It's www.alzoc.org. Every week, we put on about 10 different classes somewhere in Orange County, some in person, some are via Zoom or other platforms. People can call our helpline if they just want information or want to get connected. 844-373-4400 is our helpline. They'll be connected to a social worker and they can ask questions. They can ask about what programs are being offered in their part of the community that week or what's planned ahead. They can ask for an appointment for a care consultation to actually speak with a licensed clinical social worker and maybe start to work out a family care plan if they know a loved one is truly ill. Maybe they just need to know how to get in touch with the right doctor so that they can start the process of getting a good diagnosis. So we help them with that process, starting with their primary care physician, and then most often getting a referral to a neurologist that has a specialty in diagnosing Alzheimer's and related dementias. So we really try to be part of the process at every point and kind of coach people into how to get their questions answered and maybe even to suggest questions that they haven't even thought of and then help them with those solutions.
Right. No, that's great. That's great. Now, if somebody wants to get involved by donations, how does that work for you guys? Do you guys reach out to donors to be able to continue this service and be able to do this for free for the community? Or how does that work for you guys? So in case if somebody's listening and maybe they don't have the needs for the services right now, but they still want to get involved in some way, perhaps part of that passion is because maybe they had an elderly relative or friend that at one time needed it and say, hey, you know what, I want to be able to prepare and give back to the community and help so that people have the resources to continue this work.
Absolutely. We do rely on the generosity of our community for donations that help to support our work. So they can go to our website at www.alzoc.org and navigate to make a donation. They can call the helpline at 844-373-4400 and let them know that they're interested in making a donation. We can take that over the phone. We can tell them where to send a check. Their donation is tax deductible because we are a 501c3 not-for-profit charity. They can call us and maybe discuss. Sometimes people want to put us into their trust so that after they die, a little bit can be sent to our organization from their estate. Sometimes they want to donate immediately. And so we have events that they can attend. In November, we have a really, really swanky, spectacular gala. And people can find out about attending the gala, participating, and donating to support it. This year, our gala sponsors are two wonderful, wonderful, very well-known Orange County philanthropists, Mr. and Mrs. Rand Sperry. And so we're very, very pleased to have that kind of support in our community. They can give me a call. And I can give my information to you. And you know, if people want to reach out to me, I'm happy to take their call. My email, I'll give you my email, is Patty, Patty Mouton, Mouton, at alzoc.org. And I would welcome someone who wants to get involved or has questions or would like to have a speaker come out, perhaps to their service club or their classroom or to their workplace, because we also know that this disease really impacts productivity of people at work who are caring for a loved one with dementia. There's a lot of absenteeism, there's a lot of high stress and difficulty, and sometimes with just the right kind of support, families can construct their village of care and make it easier for everyone.
Right, exactly. Yes, because it's not just the person that's going through the illness, it's the surrounding family that has to care for them that is impacted. So that's very true. And then they may not know what resources are available for them. And so having just the ability to talk to you guys and figure it out, right? That's the main
Exactly.
idea.
That's why we're here. We're here to help the families and the people who are impacted by the disease.
Mhm.
And for every one person with a kind of dementia, there's probably 3 people in the family that are very, very directly impacted. So we really want to put our arms around all those folks and offer them whatever resources could be available and maybe help them search for programs that can help them specifically. I just helped a family not long ago. I put them in touch with our colleagues at the Orange Caregiver Resource Center, and they were able to get a grant for some respite care for their loved one. So there's really so many options to help people. They don't have to suffer alone. And if we can't find a resource for them, we'll try and invent something. That's part of our responsiveness to the community. We want to be able to look at our Orange County community, our neighbors, our friends, our families,
Right.
people that live across the street from us. We want to be able to continue to build programs that are uniquely responsive to the needs of Orange County.
That's amazing. Amazing work, Patty, what you guys are doing for everybody, all our neighbors, basically,
Thank you.
having these resources available. Now, as we get ready to wrap up the interview, what do the next 6 to 12 months look like for you? What exciting things are you working on?
I'm so glad you asked that question because in late January, and you'll have to stay tuned for the exact date, we will be putting on a really amazing brain health conference that will be really dedicated to helping people find ways to optimize their brain power, maximize their brain health, really be engaged in risk reduction for cognitive diseases. And we're going to have some amazing nationally known speakers. So stay tuned on the website and on our social media. Like us on Facebook, like me on Facebook, friend me on Facebook. It's just like it says here, Patty Barnett Mouton. And you'll get that information about the Brain Health Conference and how to participate. It'll be free. And it'll be a really amazing day of extraordinary speakers.
Thank you so much for Patty. This is so much for that, Patty. And one more time, let's give everybody your contact information in case if they want to get a hold of you. Let everybody know how they can do that.
Absolutely. Again, Alzheimer's Orange County is your local not-for-profit social services agency providing care, support, respite, and advocacy for people experiencing all forms of dementia for 45 years. Our website is www.alzoc.org, and our helpline telephone number is, I never can memorize it completely, it's 844-373-4400. Our local telephone number is 949-955-9000. We're located at 2515 McCabe Way, Suite 200 in the city of Irvine, smack in the middle of the county. And in fact, you can see our building as you're going on the 405 freeway. If you're heading northbound, we'll be on the mountainside of the freeway. So you can see us, great big letters, Alzheimer's Orange County.
Very good. Well, Patty, thanks so much for coming on. And to our audience, please follow us on ocpowerplayers.com. Thank you so much, Patty.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.